Welcome to the Stepmom Side with Alicia Crasco, the podcast for stepmoms ready to create the life they want and one they actually have a say in. Here we talk all things stepmom life and just a little bit more. Leave the superficial conversations at the door and get ready for perspective shifts and actionable advice to help you on your way to creating the life you want, one step at a time. Hey, welcome back to the Stepmom Side podcast. I'm your host, Alicia, and today we're talking about something that I think makes stepmoms break into a cold sweat faster than hearing, hey, guess what? We switched the custody schedule last minute again. Boundaries. We're going to talk about boundaries today, but specifically, how do you hold boundaries without feeling like a complete jerk? Because I know what happens. You decide you're finally going to speak up. And I hear this from stepmoms, even like on coaching calls. They're like, okay, I feel really good. Like after talking to you today, I'm going to go and I'm going to set this boundary. I'm going to do all the things, right? Or they've been in the community. They're like, okay, I'm ready. So you've decided like, okay, I'm going to speak up. I'm going to protect my time. I'm going to stop rescuing everyone, which is like a really good one, right? I'm going to stop saying yes when I desperately want to say no. And then approximately 12 seconds later, your brain goes, wait, am I being selfish? Am I being difficult? Wait, am I the drama, right? Am I ruining everyone else's day? Oh no, do they hate me now? And suddenly, you've canceled your boundary, apologized 17 times, and somehow volunteered yourself for even more things. Amazing. I love that for us. Or sometimes you're like, okay, I'm going to set this boundary, and you set the boundary, and then you see that the other person is uncomfortable or feels awkward about it, or then you start to feel awkward and you feel weird about it, and then you're like, I'm sorry, never mind. It's okay, like, I'll do that, or whatever it is, and you're like, damn it. And I love when that happens to somebody that, like, I'm in coaching with, because they're like, oh, Alicia, I have to tell you, like, this is, how do I get past that? And then we, like, talk through it. Anyway, today I want to talk about why boundaries feel so uncomfortable, right? This is why we cancel them, or this is why we decide not to do them. But also why guilt shows up and how you can stop carrying emotional responsibility for everyone around you. Because boundaries aren't mean. But if you've spent years over functioning, they sure can feel like it. Tell me that you've also spent years over functioning because same. So what is even happening here? So let's start here. A lot of stepmoms, especially ambitious, capable type A women, hello, I'm talking to you, have been trained to somehow become emotional managers. You manage the house, you manage the schedules, you manage feelings, you manage tension, you manage whether everybody's okay. You manage whether your partner's stressed. You manage whether your stepkids are upset. You manage whether your mother-in-law is offended. You manage whether the dog looked disappointed when you walked by. Everything. And over time, your brain quietly starts creating this belief, I am responsible for how everyone feels. Ugh. Because then boundaries don't feel like boundaries. They feel like you're hurting people or you're hurting someone. And I remember, I'm going to give you like a little bit of a story time here. I remember early on in my stepmom journey feeling like I had to participate in everything. And when I say everything, I mean everything. Movie nights, activities, pickups, drop-offs, conversations, chaos, noise, school events, sporting events, family dinners, everything. Whatever was happening, I felt like I needed to be there because that's what good stepmoms do. Except I was miserable. Can you relate to this? And I remember wanting alone time, but feeling terrible even thinking it. Because my brain immediately went, what if they think I don't like them? What if my husband gets upset? What if my stepkids are upset? What if this makes me a bad stepmom? So instead, I'd stay. And I'd get increasingly irritated and increasingly resentful. Relatable. And then eventually, I'd explode internally. But here's the thing. When you don't disappoint people a little, you disappoint yourself a lot. I'll say that again so you can hear it. When you don't disappoint people a little, you disappoint yourself a lot. So instead of saying like, I just want alone time, what I would say, this is how I changed it so I didn't sound like a crazy person. Like, I just want to be by myself because that sounds awesome. Like, the kids are now here and Alicia's like, she wants to be by herself. I started to
do my nails. Like every week it probably felt like to the kids, like I would change my nail color or I'd take like a long shower or a long bath. But I was like, I just need time to like breathe. You know what I mean? Is that you? So back to the boundaries. Why do boundaries feel mean? They feel mean because guilt shows up. But guilt isn't proof you're doing something wrong. Let's repeat that for the people in the back, just so you absolutely hear me. Guilt is not proof you're doing something wrong. Sometimes guilt is just proof you're doing something different. And it feels uncomfortable when something is different, especially if people pleasing has become your default setting. I'm going to repeat all of that again for you, okay? Sometimes guilt is just proof you're doing something different. And different feels uncomfortable, especially, this is the part I want you to hear, especially if people pleasing has become or is your default setting. Because you and I both know people pleasing isn't usually kindness. I know. Stay with me. People pleasing often becomes, I need everyone else to feel okay so I can feel okay. Listen to that again. I need everyone else okay so I can feel okay. That's not really about them. It's about reducing our own anxiety. Because if someone gets upset, oh no, we get uncomfortable. If someone gets disappointed, we feel uncomfortable. If someone gets frustrated, oh no, that is so uncomfortable. So we rush in and we try to fix it. And we try to like, you definitely are a stepmom. If you're reading the room, you're anticipating everyone's needs and you're all of the things, right? It's okay to be uncomfortable. But I want to tell you this. You are not emotionally responsible for everybody. Okay, that might sting a little bit, but you are not responsible for managing everyone's emotions. You're not. Not your partners, not your stepkids, not your in-laws, not your ex situation, not the other house's reactions, not anyone's reactions. But what you are responsible, hear me when I tell you this, you are responsible for your words, your actions, your behavior. That's it. Your words, your actions, your behavior, that's it. People are allowed to feel disappointed. That's okay. People are allowed to feel frustrated. People are allowed to feel angry. People are allowed to feel upset. People are allowed to not like your boundary. That doesn't automatically mean that the boundary is wrong. And honestly, it's good for, especially the kids, to feel disappointed, to feel frustrated, to feel some sort of emotion other than happy or other than delight or other than excitement. It's okay. We need it like that. Those aren't good emotions. Disappointed, frustrated, anger, like those aren't bad emotions. They're just emotions. Good, I feel good. An emotion. I feel excited. It's an emotion. But we label them good or bad emotions. But they aren't emotions. I mean, they are emotions. They aren't good or bad. That's what I'm trying to tell you. They aren't good or bad. So if somebody doesn't like your boundary, again, that doesn't automatically mean that the boundary is wrong. Let's make this real. I'm going to give you some examples of healthy boundaries, okay? So let's say this is your boundary. I'm going to take 30 minutes to myself after work before jumping into household stuff. How many times do you like get to your house and like sit in your car and like scroll on your phone or like finish listening to a song or finish listening to a voice note or check your email or whatever? Because you know when you walk in that door, bam, life is on. Maybe that's just me, but I am like, oh my God, like let me just sit here for a minute. And my husband's like, hey, are you okay out there? And I'm like, just reset the timer, buddy. Thank you. So the boundary is I'm going to take 30 minutes to myself after work before jumping into household stuff. So maybe you come back and you know, switch into like comfy clothes or you have a snack or you drink some water, whatever it is. So what that doesn't mean though is I hate everyone and I'm disappearing forever. No, that's not what we're doing. That might be how you're feeling is I hate everyone and I'm disappearing forever, but that's not what we're going to do. We're just going to take 30 minutes to ourselves. Another boundary, I'm not discussing custody changes at 10:30 at night. What that does not mean is I don't care about this family. That just means like at 10:30 at night, what should you be doing? Sleeping. What am I doing at 10:30 at night? Not sleeping. I'm usually awake, but I should be sleeping. So 10:30 at night, let's not start a custody change schedule, like custody change discussion. No, that's not going to help us go to sleep. That also doesn't mean that you don't care about this family. Another boundary, I'm not cleaning everyone's dishes if I didn't make the mess. Absolutely. Like, this is so frustrating to me. Like, I am not cleaning up everyone's dishes if I didn't make the mess. What that does not mean, I'm quitting at being a human. But do you see what our brains do? Like, our brains take a tiny boundary and immediately turn it into, congratulations, you become a selfish monster. I just want to say, like, relax, brain. Nobody asked for all that drama. Like, no, we're not doing that. So here's how we're going to hold the boundary. Step 1, expect the discomfort. Seriously, stop expecting boundaries to feel amazing immediately. They're often awkward. It feels weird, especially if you've always said yes to something and then now all of a sudden you're like, no, thank you. Or I'm not available for that anymore. You feel awkward saying it. You don't feel super confident saying it. And the other person can tell that too. So there's discomfort on your side, on their side. It's going to be weird. The first time is the hardest, okay? The first time is the hardest. You're changing patterns. You are retraining yourself. Okay? You're retraining yourself. You're also retraining other people on how they can treat you. Da-da-da. We're like moving in the right direction here. Step number 2. Please stop over-explaining. People pleasers, hello, I'm talking to you, love a 5-page dissertation. Well, I just feel like maybe because of this one thing, and then I thought, no. We're not doing that. Like, I'm doing this because, no. We're going to do short, kind, done. I'm unavailable tonight. I'm taking time for myself. That doesn't work for me. The end. And if you need to like work through these like in real time, like drop them inside the Stepmom Side community and we can help you with that. Step number 3, allow people to react. This is where everybody starts sweating. Listen, my friend. I did too, because I was like, oh my God, as soon as I say no, like they are like World War III is going to start. Like this is going to be insane. When people react, this is where you're going to start sweating. Because we're okay setting boundaries until someone gets annoyed, until somebody gets frustrated, until somebody gets upset. Then we immediately want to backpedal. Remember how I talked about that at the beginning of this episode, how it was like, okay, we set this boundary and then now it feels weird and now we're like, just kidding. Never mind, I'll do it. It's fine. No, insert nervous laughter. No, we're not doing that. So we are not immediately backpedaling. Nope. Their reaction belongs to them. If they feel a certain kind of way about it, that's on them, my friend. That is not on you. So here's what's actually on the other side. Let's get to the good part now. Here's what's actually on the other side. And here's what's funny. Many of us think, if I set boundaries, people won't like me. If I set boundaries, people won't like me. But often, the opposite happens. People start understanding you better. You become less resentful. You become calmer. You stop silently keeping score. You stop becoming the family martyr. You know what nobody tells you? Boundaries don't create resentment. Lack of boundaries creates resentment. Boundaries don't create resentment. Lack of boundaries creates resentment. It's kind of like when I talk about house expectations, the house runs a lot more smoothly because everyone knows where they stand. Everyone knows their part. Same thing here. Boundaries, everyone knows where you stand. Everyone knows what you will or won't do. It's not this like, well, last time she did it, or sometimes she does it, and sometimes now she doesn't, and now what's going on? It gives everyone, yourself included, most importantly, so much more clarity on your role, how you want to show up, what you want to do. Boundaries are so important. They are so awkward to set. It feels so weird. I get it. But if you've been struggling with boundaries, I want you to remember this. You are not a jerk because you need rest. You are not selfish because you need space. You are not difficult because you have limits, regardless of what anyone tells you. You are a human being. And you are allowed to matter too. You are allowed to matter too. You do not have to set yourself on fire to keep everyone else warm. Oh, I love that quote. You do not have to set yourself on fire to keep everyone else warm. And you don't get bonus points for becoming emotionally exhausted. You don't. Your needs count too, even if your brain tries to tell you otherwise. So if this episode hit you right in the people-pleasing soul and you're thinking, okay, wow, that was a little rude because I feel attacked. Listen, if I would have listened to this podcast episode like 10 years ago, I would have been like, stop, pause, skip to the next episode, skip to a different podcast. I'm not listening to that. But if this hit you right in the people-pleasing soul, I've got something for you. Go download my free boundaries resource at aliciacrasco.com/boundaries. It's going to help you start creating boundaries without guilt, without overthinking, and without feeling like you're suddenly becoming the villain in your own house. And if you know another stepmom who desperately needs this episode, please send it to her. I will chat with you next week.
Thanks for taking time to listen to this week's episode. If anything was helpful or resonated with you, please share it on social media and tag me. I'm just at Alicia Crasco. And if you could leave a 5-star rating and review while you're at it, that would also be really helpful. And if you find yourself struggling with your stepmom journey and you want a little bit more support without the hefty price tag of coaching, you might want to check out the Stepmom Side community, which is my own private community for stepmoms, where you get to connect with other stepmoms around the world and myself, where I hold weekly office hours and monthly group coaching. It's kind of like you have your own personal coach in your own back pocket. Again, without that hefty price tag. See you next week.